as teaching tool for 21st century. For the day 4, session 3 on gamification for learning and development. Today we have a very eminent resource person, Mr. D. SENTHIL Kannan, who is a graduate of Commerce and postgraduate of Business Administration with specialization in international business. He belongs to a reputed business family, VVD and Sons, who have diversified business interests. He is the founder director of a premium soft skills training academy in Tuticorin called PALMS. He is the editor of monthly newsletter PALMS Plus. He has served as the president of JCI Tuticorin, Pearl City in the year 2000. He has also served as the president of Giant Group of Tuticorin in the year 2015. He has to his credit a number of awards for his contribution to JCI and Giants Welfare Foundation. He is the co-founder of Spark, a service organization dedicated to spread awareness on health, law, career, and social responsibility to the students and the community. He is a certified national trainer of JCI India. He has also done certificate programs in counseling skills, transactional analysis, neuro-linguistic programming, social entrepreneurship, and laughter yoga. He is the author for that book, Transformational Thoughts. He does group coaching and mentoring for young people to help them unleash their potential. He is a past chairman of CII Tuticorin and an EC member of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Toothukudi. He is an external member of Institution Innovation Council of Manomalayam Sundarnath University. He has traveled extensively abroad on either business or occasion to over 25 countries. A socially oriented person who supports many social causes such as free education, blood donation, and environmental care. He believes in the philosophy of think global, act local. He has a wide array of interests and likes to travel and explore new places, meet new people, learn new things, and share his experiences. He desires to make a meaningful contribution in the lives of people through training. And he is also happily married to his Guru Bala and is blessed with two sons, Siddharth and Sanjeev. It gives me a very immense pleasure to welcome you, sir. And the session is all yours. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sriram. And let me straight away get into the session. So first of all, I'd like to thank Vanitha Mani for inviting me to be here and doing a session for the faculty members. So gamification is a topic which is quite interesting and new to me also. In fact, I am not an expert in gamification, but I attended a 2-day workshop on gamification, which gives me the interest towards this particular field. And especially when we are going through this COVID times and when we see that there's not much of interest in people to join online classes and all that. Are you able to hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. You are.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. So is there anything you can just stop me and we can discuss about it? Yeah.
Sure.
So, so basically, I think we have got 90 minutes time, and I will just start to share my screen. And I would also like you to be as interactive as possible. Whenever it's possible, you can just share your thoughts because unless I hear from you, I will not understand how much you are able to get this concept into your mind. So, I hope you're able to see, all of you are able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So basically, generally when we talk about these sort of concepts, they say 101. 101 is basic. It means the basic program. They say in US they use this word 101 as a suffix for all basic courses. So what you're going to learn now, probably within the next 1 hour, is just the some basic concept of gamification. So let me just get into the topic. So what are the things we're going to cover today? First, we are going to see what gamification is not. We need to know what gamification is not about, then what it is. Then so I'm going to share a few real life examples where I have applied gamification. And then I'm going to tell you a 7-step process by which you can do the gamification. And also some pitfalls where you can go wrong if gamification doesn't work out properly. And finally, how effective it is and the conclusion. So this is going to be the outline of today's content. So how many of you have played games? I think all of us somehow played video games. And we think that gamification is something to do with these sort of games where there is badgification. We say where there's a lot of badges, points given, and all that. So we tend to think gamification is something like games, but the truth is we're just going to take the essence from here, but it is not exactly video games. It's not exactly video games, but we are just taking some concepts from video games into our real learning process. The first you need to understand when we talk about gamification, it's not about games. So there's no game involved. It is only taking the concepts from the gamification games into our whatever purpose we are going to use. And let me tell you that gamification is not only used for education, it is used everywhere in business, in customer relationship management, in staff welfare, in staff recruitment. So many areas we can use gamification. Probably as I go through the slides, you'll be able to relate where are the different areas we'll be able to look at gamification or where we can do gamification. So there are a lot of games we played. I think at least a few of the games which I have played is this Farmville, Prince of Persia. These are some of the games, and I think these are very popular. Temple Run and Candy Crush. There are so many games, online games that is available. Somehow I am not a big fan of games, but if you still look at it, games is something which clicks well with youngsters to old people. It's not only small youngsters who are playing games. In fact, very elderly people are also playing games because that is one of the most what is the economical way to consume their time. So this is one of the things that they're doing. So if any one or two of you can just say, it will be nice. What are the games you have played, and if you have played some game, what was the experience of playing an online game? What is the thrill you get out of playing an online game? Can I expect a few responses? Any one or two of you can just share some thoughts.
I have played a game called Far Cry.
Okay.
Which is just exploring the jungle.
Okay. So what happens when you explore the jungle? What is the target? What is the ultimate aim of the game?
It is about how to fight the nature, sir.
Okay, so you are going to fight against the nature to reach somewhere, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There will be some checkpoints where we would reach and we will get something.
Yeah. So if you look at it, every game has got a particular goal, and there are different levels and different stages by which you achieve that goal. So if you look at the academic way of our regular things, we are also having this sort of a what you call a ladder model. Ladder model means you have to step on each ladder to go to the next level. So for example, you have to do a first year, then you have to do a second year, then you do a third year, then you have to get a good mark, and then only you can go to a good college. So many things are there. So basically, we are also doing a lot of real life things is like a game only. But only thing is we are not given that gamification idea into our day-to-day academics. So now what bring in these principles of gamification, which is very popular in the games, which children are enjoying, which college students are enjoying, and trying to build it your curriculum or in the way you give your marks and scorecards. So gaming industry, if you look at it, it is one of the biggest industry and it is growing like $60 billion. And so many people play social games every month. So you need to understand the impact or the amount of interest people have towards this sort of gaming. So now we are just looking at how we are going to use these concepts into our regular things. So the definition of gamification is, just take a closer look at this. The integration of the mechanics that make game fun and absorbing. So we are going to take those mechanics. So we're just going to take the mechanics, not the game itself. We're just going to take the mechanics from there and integrate into a non-game platform. So now education is not a game. So it is a non-game platform, but you're going to give the experience in order to improve engagement and participation. So by using the mechanics that is used in the game, that is fun and all the elements are there. So you're going to try to take all those elements from the gaming and put it into a non-game platform. So if you look at education, it's a non-game platform. So we need to see how can we integrate this sort of mechanics into the academic life. So this is what gamification is all about. It is, if you look at it in a very simple way, I don't know whether you have practiced in your families or whatever. In our families, they say you have to brush your teeth twice, you have to bathe twice, and in order to encourage the small children to do these habits regularly, they'll say, I'm going to put a star chart. I'm going to put a star chart, and if you are keeping yourself clean, if you are bathing properly, if you're doing this correctly, if you're doing your homework daily, so I'll put one star, one golden star. So we are trying to give a sort of a reward mechanism for doing the normal things. So brushing the teeth is a very important thing. So it's a normal thing that they have to do, but still you do not, in order to give it a sort of a excitement and sort of a reward system, we say, okay, every time you do something, you get a point. So when you try to do a sort of a reward system for encouraging positive behavior, we talk about gamification. So I'm going to just share a very simple example. Probably this video is something you would have seen a number of times, but still it's very apt for me to share it here. So I know that a lot of us travel by train, tube trains and all that, and there is the staircase is there, and also the elevator is there. And I think most of us will take the escalator only, right? Whenever there is an opportunity, we take the escalator only. We do not want to walk all the steps. In Sweden, what happened was they felt that when a country is very rich, the problem is not the money. The problem is the health of the people. So they want to have a better health of their citizens. So what they thought is we should encourage because they are asking them to go to exercise or go to the gym. It's not possible. So they want to encourage the citizens to do more physical activity and not become obese, because what happens is in those countries the healthcare is taken by the government, which means if the healthcare expenses are high, then it is going to be affecting their tax revenue. So what they thought is we should make people more healthy, and so they wanted people to take the stairs. So they did not know how to make them use the stairs, because when there's an easy option available, people are not going to take the tough option. So what they did was they did a small experiment, and okay, so if you look at this video, you would understand that when there's an element of fun added to something, people tend to change into a positive behavior of using the staircase instead of the normal behavior of using the escalator. So if you would have observed, even old people are using the staircase. And also does not mean that people are not using the escalator at all. Still, there are people using the escalator, and people who are in a hurry, people who are not able to walk, they can still take the escalator. The escalator was not switched off, it was not put off or anything. Still, when there is a fun element added to the walking, the staircase, people chose this. So this is a similar sort of thing we are trying to do when you're talking about games. So using play to motivate is what we are ultimately trying to do. So gamification is one of the fastest growing technology in the world. So this trend is actually catching up, and in a lot of places they are using gamification either in business or in on academic front or with customer relations. For example, a small thing I could say, if let's say you people go to KFC, what you would probably find is at the end of the bill they'll give you a small voucher, and they say that if you give a feedback, and you will get a coupon and you can save 10% off. So they are asking you for a feedback but to give the feedback, they're giving a 10% discount. So it is basically a sort of incentivizing everything that we want to happen. If you just going to ask somebody to give a feedback, they're not going to give feedback. So you say, okay, if you give a feedback and submit this in the online thing, you'll get a 10% discount voucher or a coupon. So whenever you're using a reward system to motivate somebody to do something, I think you can call it as gamification. So it basically encourages positive behavioral change with instant and positive feedback. So gamification is all about bringing the sort of gamification is bringing the positive behavioral change, and also you can see the results immediately. And these game elements which you're talking about, like the rewards, badges, points, and all that, will create a sort of competition. The competition to win, and the reward to encourage people to do that action. So it's basically reward orientation, whereby leveraging the inherent need to compete and win. So there are a few terms we need to understand once you get into this called gamification. So these may be looking very similar to what we find in games, but this is what we'll be using when you're going to do gamification of your classrooms also. So first of all, the word we use is users. We don't use the word students, but students is ultimately the end consumer of the particular service. But these are the terms that they use when you're designing a gamification thing. So anyone who participates in the platform is called a user. Then we have feedback. So we need to have feedback mechanism. So immediate positive feedback makes you feel good. So if you imagine that somebody is doing something and they'll get the results only at the end of the year, there's not going to be any sort of happiness. But rather every time you do something, somebody claps, somebody gives a thumbs up, somebody gives some positive comments, then there is a lot of momentum building up that people like to do more of it. So feedback, again, instant feedback is one of the another elements that we need to integrate into gamification. Then the badges. So generally in our regular curriculum, we will use certificates and trophies to honor the outstanding students or students who are excelling in a particular subject or whatever. So similar to that, when we do it in an online platform, what we could do is we can use badges. So instead of awards, you can use the badges, which can be just a virtual thing. It's not necessarily a physical thing. It's just a virtual thing which you can display in any of your social media. Today, everybody is active in social media. They are in Facebook, they are in whatever, Instagram, so many platforms they are active. So they want to show off that they are doing well in something, that they are recognized somewhere. So all this can be called as badges that can be displayed. So this is one thing that we're also going to try to integrate when you talk about gamification. And there is something called leaderboard. Leaderboard is nothing but a report card or a scorecard. So at every point of time, you need to see where you stand. In a group of 50 people or 100 students, where do you stand? How many people are behind you? How many people are ahead of you? So leaderboard is something like a scorecard where you will be able to see whether you're in the top 3 or top 10 or whether you're lagging behind. So this sort of a scoreboard which helps people to understand where they stand when it comes to this sort of an active engagement process. Am I going very fast or is it okay with the participants?
Sir, it is fine, sir.
Okay, thank you. And then we also need to know how far they have progressed. So status of completion. Let's say, I don't know, maybe let's say MBA got 15 subjects and maybe every semester you got 5 subjects. So let's say the person has to know where he is, how much is completed towards the end goal. He's got a long end goal, and then the long end goal, where does he stand? How far he's reached? So that progress is also need to be shown for the person to know, okay, I have come so far, I come 25% only, I come 10% only, I have to go far, I have to go faster. Or some people are in the 80% and not doing more. Then they, okay, I'm in the 80%, just 20%, you put some extra time, I'll be able to complete this. So this sort of progress or what you call the state of completion is also needed for us to integrate into the system of gamification, whatever we are planning to do for our students. And finally, the rewards. So rewards can be anything like in case of academic thing, I can talk about scholarship, or you can say distinction, or you can say you can get a good placement in some company, top 3 people get placed in TCS, or whatever, something like whatever will motivate them to work towards the rewards can be the rewards at the end of the whole process. So now we are trying to integrate the gaming information into real life. So all this is about the real education. But in the real education, they are going to bring in these concepts. So that is what it's all about. And finally, as I told you, social integration of all the badges, profiles, your progress. If you are able to integrate it into the social media and they are able to get recognition, just like if you remember in our school days, in our notice board, they will put the names of the top performers. So whenever somebody comes and sees, they'll say, okay, my name. Because ultimately humans are craving for some sort of achievement recognition. So when they are looking for this recognition, we should look at ways how we can recognize them or make them feel proud about achieving the targets that we have set for them. So I just wanted to share this. I just thought about this as a very good analogy for this gamification. If you looked at the for each subject, and if you are less than 35 marks, they would put up underlined into the red, and in the right will have a remark, and then the paragraph in this way to get more. How do you should concentrate more on whatever the teacher has written as a remark. You have to improve your handwriting. You have to be more punctual. You have to be more disciplined. Whatever. So ultimately, the how well the student is performing. But then what happened is somehow people felt averse to this sort of report card because that red mark, fail, negative things did not make them feel good. So if you look at it a little later, or if you still look at it, some of the report cards that we find in the current medium of education, you will see something like this. Instead of marks, we started using grades like A, B, B plus. So you don't put the exact mark, but we put overall, like you are in this category. So more like bucketing, not about that, but about more bucketing. You also saw arithmetic, language, art, music, physical education. And left hand side, you could have seen that there are things like cooperation, independence, healthfulness, self-control. So we are also assessing the behavioral skills of the student. It's not only the academic skills, we are also assessing the behavioral skills of the student. So this was a little improvement from our old report card. And now if you look at it, gamification is one more level of advancement. So nothing more than that. So instead of saying as marks, they're going to say as coins earned, time spent. So this is going to be a totally different way of looking at it. The child's user profile picture is going to be there. Then you're going to see instead of coins, you can say number of points, or you can say problem solved, how many problems you have solved, how many you have taken practice. So this is a sort of a scoreboard that they are maintaining in order to understand where they are in compared to the other students. Basically, we are using these things like points, badges, leaderboards, levels, and all these together form the reward system of the whole gamification process. So let me share just two examples from my real life after this gamification program. I wanted to try it out in some of the things. So I'm going to share it with you. They do for not for students, it is for people who come out of college and who are just starting off in life. Maybe people in the age of 25 to 40, 50 who want some guidance about personal development. So this was the program I do for some people here. So I thought, why don't I bring this gamification concept into this sort of what we did. So in this course, if a person has just attended the 12 classes, he'll get 600 points. Almost 60% of the marks come from just by attendance. So what I am first of all aiming is that the student should be regular to class, attend and receive all the information that is being shared. And after that, I have added points like punctuality. So if you come at 2:30, exactly at 2:30, then you get 10 points. If you come even late by 1 minute, you don't get the 10 points. So punctuality was another factor we had. Then what I did was, at the end of every session, I used to give them some assignment. It will be some paperwork or some drawing, some work which is related to the particular course. And as soon as they finish the assignment, they get 30 points. And they also have to give presentations in the classroom. They have to prepare a presentation for 7 minutes and present in the classroom. If they give a presentation in classroom, they get 30 points. And when they are a team leader, we have teams built into that. And if they're a team leader, they get 100 points. It is in the order to volunteer them to take leadership roles. So whenever there's an opportunity to take a leadership role, they should be willing to take. So if you look at it, 1000 points, getting 1000 points is very, very easy. So they also get extra points for participating in class. Then we had challenge system, like 28-day challenge. Like for example, I'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, or I'll sleep, I will not use my mobile phone for 2 hours before I sleep. So they have to take some challenge. And if they follow through the challenge for 14 days, there's no points. But if they follow it for more than 14 days, at 15 to 21 days, they get 10 points. 22 to 27 days, 20 points. And if they do it for 28 days, get 30 points. So these were some of the things we had. So if you look at it, a lot of students got more than 2000 points, not 1000 points. I'm talking about because when the enthusiasm is there and they're comparing, okay, this person has got already 600 points, I'm in 400, I should do something more. So this sort of a competition builds up, and all the people, like 15 participants were there in the course, all of them completed the program by getting 1000 points, or like somewhere like 800, 900, then we try to push them through and get the score. So what was the reward I gave them? I told them, okay, if you get this reward, I have an advanced level program, which is 9,000 rupees worth, which you'll get it free. So now there is a reward system we are trying to include into the whole process. And then we had a sort of a gift voucher and a holiday resort, and then 1-day workshop. So these were some of the rewards we gave in order to motivate students to get the top 3 positions. So I hope you get the point of how I was able to integrate some sort of a gamification technique into my normal year-long training program. So now I'm going to share one more experience of a fitness challenge. So when you look at the fitness challenge, there are a few things we need. For example, we know that all of us have got a smartwatch or a fitness band or a smartphone where you are able to record the number of steps you are taking every day. So the challenge is all about how many steps you walk. So I'm going to talk about it a little later. Then we have the software needed is, you need a step counter app or a WhatsApp. You need a WhatsApp in order to report to the team that you have walked so many steps. Then we have the reporting mechanism that you should tell your, you have to share your screenshot by 12 o'clock midnight the previous day. If you are sending your report late, you will not get your marks. So if you're not sending a screenshot before 12 o'clock, you will not get the score. So there was one organizer of the game was keeping track of all the scores. So it was planned as a team activity. So what happened was in the WhatsApp group, there were totally 30 participants volunteered to play this game. And in the team, we played team of 6 and made 5 teams. So each team had 6 players and 5 teams. So each team was given a name also, dragon, unicorn, so whatever name you want to give, some fancy name. We gave a name for each team. And these were the type of rewards we talked about. We said the team with the cumulative highest number of steps in a week will win. So it was a 7-day work. It was a 7-day gamified fitness challenge. So what we did was, at the end of 7 days, whichever team has got the maximum number of steps will get the winner prize. And we also said, other than the team score, you'll also get individual rewards. So who's the most consistent performer? A person who continuously walks in the minimum number of steps is a consistent performer. Let's say one person is walking 10,000 steps one day, next day is walking 2,000 steps, then he's not consistent. But let's say one person is walking for 7,000 steps every day, so he's more consistent. So we had rewards like consistent performer, maximum team contributor. Maximum team contributor means, okay, there are 4 teams, 5 teams, and each team there is somebody who's contributing the maximum for the team. So the maximum team contributor also got an award. Then we had maximum number of steps on any particular day. Let's say for every day we also had a everyday award. Today, let's say I walked 15,000 steps, I get the maximum number of steps award. Then maximum number of steps in the entire week. So individual award of who walked the maximum number of steps in the total 7 days. So this was basically a game, and we did not expect that there will be such a good response and feedback from all adult audience. It's not about kids. These were all people in the age group of 40 to 55 who are very actively engaged in this sort of activity. So as I told you, for the purpose of gamification, we need a hardware. The hardware is basically, I told you about the smartwatch or whatever, and the software is maybe in our system, it could be a Excel, PowerPoint or whatever the software. Then the reporting mechanism should be there, the game plan should be there, the reward should be there. So the outcome we found was it was a healthy competition. A lot of people who were not into any fitness participated, and even when there were rains, people used to take the umbrella and go for walking, which is very unusual. Generally, we give an excuse. I did not go for walking today because it was raining. But I was able to see that people were, because they are motivated by the game and winning, they used the umbrella and then they went out to walk. So there was an element of fun, everybody pulling each other, making some fun, and between each people, that energy was built up there, and each member was pushing. Now the individual was sort of accountable for the team's success or failure. So if I am not walking enough, then my team will fail. So what I have to do is my member of my team will say, why are you walking only less? You have to walk a little more so that we will be able to get better score. So this sort of a healthy competition we were able to build, and we were able to see the sort of results. So these are just some examples I am giving you in order to tell you that we had to look at some creative ways of integrating this sort of gamification concept into our education system. So again, I want to ask a question to the members here. How many of you tried any gamification with the students? If you have tried anything, I want you to share. I'm waiting for your response.
Sir, I tried Kahoot, sir.
Oh, sorry. Tell me, sir.
I tried student Kahoot.
Okay, Kahoot you tried. Okay, good. Anything else? Any other things you've tried?
I have used. I have tried Mentimeter.
You have tried Mentimeter. Okay.
Yes.
So how is it working, sir? How do you feel the effect of Kahoot and Mentimeter? Do you think that the engagement is better with the students?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I had tried PeerTech, Nearpod, and different word puzzles as starter activities in the classroom. Then the plenary sections also, we are trying different activities. Especially as it is e-learning, we could explore more. And we could make students to engage in all these things. So they are really excited. For rather than summarizing, making a child randomly select a child to make them summarize, we are doing such activities so that we could even, and also we are practicing things like taking the votes. How many of you understood inputs? So these all are, finally we could create a chart or diagram or something like that about the understanding level of the students. Okay, how far did you enjoy the session, like that? So we are also taking the feedback in the mode of some interesting questions, then which identify 2, 3 most interesting things you could find it, and the 3 things you would feel that there is an improvement is required. So such things also we are doing it so that we could also analyze ourselves as a teacher. Where should I improve? Yeah.
So what is the age group of the students actually?
Sir, it's in higher secondary.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So you felt that even students from higher secondary were able to participate and engage well, right?
Exactly, sir. Exactly. They are really interested in doing all these things, but rather they don't really, feel like they are, or we don't feel like they are interested in lectures. Rather, they are interested in activities. Some are yes. If we are giving them some activities, then they are excited to do that.
So basically, children are always fond of these sort of things.
Exactly, sir.
video about this Mentimeter. Probably people who have already used it may not find it very useful, but there's a small thing, there's a small tool wherein they say today the biggest distraction for students in the online classes. You are sitting online. For example, right now I'm sitting in my computer and I'm talking to you, but I do not know what you're doing. I'm absolutely unaware of what the participants are doing, but I know that there are 60 people sitting there. But how many of you are actually attending the class? How many of you are looking at your mobile phone? Or how many of you are taking some other work? I don't have any idea. But simply I'm talking and hoping that all of you are listening, right? So what they try to do is this Mentimeter is a small effort where they try to use two devices like the laptop or the computer use as the display screen where you ask questions, and the child has to use the mobile phone as a input device to give the answers. So now what happens is all the questions are asked in the computer screen, and the child, instead of using the computer mobile phone for some other purpose, is forced or not in the forced is motivated to use the mobile phone in order to answer these questions. So I'm just going to play this video. It's going to take 2 minutes. I just want you to go through this. And maybe if you look at into the website, Dexter.io is another Indian platform. Mentimeter is from UK. There are some free amount. There are few. You can do a few projects free. 3 or 4 projects you can do free. But if you want more, you have to pay and get it. It's a paid platform. But you still have to give an idea about how this works. I just taken this small video. I would request you to please watch this. Oh, sorry.
Sir, if there is an audio in your video, you can use a button called use computer sound.
Okay, it's not. Is it coming now, sir?
Video is being played, sir, but I don't get the audio, sir.
Audio is not coming, huh?
Yes, sir.
So what should I do?
Sir, when you shared the screen, you would have found enable computer sound. There is a button.
I enabled that. Okay, maybe I'll do that again. I'll just go out and come back.
Please, please.
Yeah. Okay, now, so you're not able to listen to the first one also?
Yes, sir. But it was very much understandable. So we enjoyed the video instead of asking for audio.
Okay, thank you.
Video.
Why is it I'm not able to share this 1 minute?
தேவங்களாம் கிரீன் கலர் இருக்கீங்க.
இது மேம் கவுன்சிலிங்.
Sir, are you able to see my screen now?
No, I could see only your video, sir.
Oh, okay. I want to share content now.
Yes, sir. I could see your screen now, sir.
You're able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
But I'm not able to see my. I don't know where I am presenting.
Sir, your whole screen is being shared, sir.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what I should do.
You can simply open that PPT which you need to present, sir.
Yeah, I opened the PPT and I'm just sharing it. Okay, now it's now screen is shared, right?
Your screen is shared.
But they're not getting the audio, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So can I suggest?
Yeah.
When you are clicking on the share screen, there's an option to share the window, and
Are you able
above
to-
that include computer sound. Okay, you have to enable that. You have to
Okay.
share the window, then include computer sound. You have to
Okay.
enable that, then it will be okay. Whichever windows you are sharing, it will be displayed.
Yeah, I understand. Now I done
Yes, sir.
now. So now I think it should be okay.
Madam, I think sir is trying to connect again, madam. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay.
May I request the participants, like whomever have already used the gamification platforms, can you share your experience with the other members? Still, the resource person joins. Probably let me check with them for the technical aspects. And till he joins us, can we have a discussion among the forum? Probably, Lakshmi ma'am, you have suggested, like you have said, you have used some software.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm not so prepared to speak. Yeah, sir is here.
Sorry, I think I logged out by mistake.
No issues. Now we'll continue.
Yeah, okay, okay. So were you able to listen to my presentation? That audio you were able to hear?
Yes, sir.
You were able to see the presentation, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So that was what we were. So this audio is over, and now let me go to the next one.
Yes, sir. I could see your slide, sir. It is visible.
Yeah. So you were able to listen to that particular video also.
Sir, I couldn't see the video you placed.
Just now.
Yes.
Purpose. What is the main reason for gamifying? So you will come out with a lot of answers like, okay, I want to gamify because my students are not participative, my students are not showing interest, or whatever the reason. First, you need to understand the critical questions. Why you need to? Because if something is going well, there's no need to change. I always believe this. If something is going well, there's no need to they say don't bring in a change just for the sake of bringing a change. Don't bring in a change just for the sake of bringing a change. Change should come only when something is not working properly, or you think there is a better way of doing things. So first of all, you need to find out whether gamification needed for your particular purpose. So let's say now you understand, okay, maybe if I use gamification, things will work better. Then you will say, okay, let me employ gamification. Then you have to ask the next question, how does it benefit the user? So now you can say, okay, now the user is going to be more interested in the classroom. He's going to show more interest and he's going to get better marks. And all these things will be the benefit that the user gets. And then you have to ask whether they will whether they will enjoy it, whether they'll enjoy it or whether it's boring for them. So how do you make it interesting and enjoyable for them? So these will be the three primary questions to ask. This is from the point of the participants. And then you have to look at the functional questions. What are the goals you are trying to achieve? What are things that you want your students to do? So what are the goals you are wanting your students to achieve? So first is you have to look into that. Then how can you get the user to fulfill these goals? So what can you do in order to make them work towards these goals? Then finally, what actions do you want your players to take? So players, what they should do in order to get the particular score or marks, whatever it is. So the purpose of gamification is user engagement, to gain and maintain user attention, to maintain them things more pleasurable in interaction. So the idea of having gamification is to enhance the user engagement. And the second most important thing is motivation. The motivation is something which is always missing. So one of the reasons children are not very happy or they don't like to go to schools or colleges is that they are not motivated to study. There is many more things interesting in their life that there is no much of interest in the academic part. So we need to see how we can bring in the motivation. That's why it says tracks into the millennial generation in desire of accomplishing something and make them move forward in their life. So they should get that feel of, they say, or they should, there's a kick, they should get a kick out of doing something. When they feel, okay, I win this, I got this right. So that is how they are motivated. Like, because they like to play, we already note that they play gaming and they enjoy gaming. They enjoy gaming because they feel that they are getting small rewards, all virtual rewards, coins, something or other they're getting. So some motivation is helping them to stay in the game. Similarly, we have to look at how we can build these parameters into our education curriculum so that they're motivated to stay in this track. Then how are you going to get the feedback from the participants? So we need to have good feedback from the participants. Ultimately, it's not only about employing some technique. After employing the technique, we should also see whether the participant is using it well, whether he's enjoying it, whether there's some good progress by using this gamification. So all these three things are necessary in order to see whether the gamification is working right. So let me now go into the second step. First is why gamification. Second is player profile. So in our case, we are very clear about who our players are. Our players are students, correct? Who are your players? Your players are students. So what are their needs and goals? So we have to ask what are their needs and goals, and then why are they playing? So we need to ask these questions. What's holding them back from achieving their potential? We know that some students are very intelligent, some very smart, but some are they not showing interest in studies. So we have to see what is stopping them from not getting into this. When we understand all these things in the background, we'll be able to design our gamification program in such a way that we'll be able to give point systems or some sort of challenge that will help them to bring out their potential. Then we can also ask whether playing style is solo, competitive, cooperative, what type of games they like, whether they like solo games, whether they like competitive games, whether they like cooperative games. There are three types of games. Some games are solo. You play with the system. You don't play with anybody else. You just get marks. You just keep scoring. You just keep growing. That is solo. Competitive is you create a sort of competition between fellow participants. That fellow is getting more, you are getting less. So that competitive spirit is there. A third is, I told you, like collaborative or cooperative work, where you say, okay, 4 teams. Each team has got a team leader. Then so the cooperative team is called cooperative. And what are the metrics you are caring about? So you are interested in the child's, the student's overall marks, or are you interested in his behavior, interested in soft skills? So what are the metrics you are caring about? So these are the things you need to first understand before designing the game. And then you should also understand what is the motivational driver. The motivational driver could be achievement of goal or it could be just enjoyment of experience. They're just looking at it as an experience or they want to achieve a goal. Whether they like it to have structure and guidance or they want freedom to explore. Like they should be able to do by themselves. They don't need structure, they don't need guidance. So we need to understand the level of our participants before we design the sort of gamification process into the learning process. So control of others, connect with others. Whether you want to bring a sort of control or whether you want to bring a sort of connection. And is it self-interest or social interest? So all these things have to be looked into from different frames of mind in order to see how will they get motivated to stay engaged in this particular process of gamification. Then we always use this word called the hero's quest. The hero's quest is there should be a long-term goal and there should be also a lot of short-term goals. The long-term goal should be a little difficult and the short-term goal should be making it easy. It can be to master a new skill, a new habit, or whatever it could be. So the hero's quest should be something a long journey, but the long journey should be broken up with smaller rewards in and there, so that they are motivated to stay on track. That's what I given, one step at a time. And then the desire to inspire, figure out a way to make long-term and short-term goals exciting and aspirational. So only when they are able to make small wins, they'll be motivated to stay in the game. Otherwise, halfway through they say, okay, the reward is too long. Let's say you get the first prize only after you reach that level. Then they don't lose, because they don't have the motivation. A lot of people will give up. So at every point, you have to give some sort of small rewards. So this is called as goals and objectives that we need to set. This is step 3. Step 4 is to make a list of the skills you want to integrate into them. Whether the skills are physical skills, mental skills, or social skills. So what are skills you want to integrate? So once you put the list of the skills, then you should see how can these skills be brought into the game. So choose skills that you wish to develop into the user. And as I told you, break long goals into smaller objectives and make it measurable. Once you do that, you will first understand, for example, a MBA student, he should be good at communicating. You should be able to put up a business proposal. You should be able to negotiate. So we'll have a list of skills that we expect an MBA student to have. You should be able to present well in an interview. So these are the things we might be wanting as a skill. So we need to develop the whole plan according to the skills we need to integrate into the particular student. Only when we are aware of that, we can give some marks or score for each activity based on the level of importance and try to say, okay, if you do this, you'll get. If you do a presentation in class, you get more marks. If you take leadership role, you'll get some more points. So when you are having measurable metrics, automatically people will try to use all the channels in order to accumulate more score or more marks. Then we have to look into the whole process from the lens of interest. So as I told you already, competition type, time pressure. So everything has to have a time frame. If you have a game without time frame, then people will feel, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. So you should say within 3 days you have to do it. Within 24 hours you have to accomplish it. So only when the time pressure is there, then there's some sort of a challenge, some sort of interest for them to do it within the given time. Then if you look at the games, you'll always see that there's 1 life, 3 life. So scarcity of resources. You have only so many bullets. You have only so many cans of water. So something like that. So when the scarcity is there, they will be more prudent in using their resources. So this sort of scarcity building is also one way of making them to be more wise in usage of resources. Let's say for money management, you want to tell them about using the money in a wise way. You have to tell them that you will be losing so much of coins if you don't do this, or if you are getting more, you will get so much. So that sort of a scarcity has to be a little sort of they say there should be a lot of fear motivation also should be there to make a game interesting. Then we can add puzzles, then we can have levels, then make it teamwork. Then as I told you, currency can be added, like you get 500 coins, 300 coins. So whatever, which you can trade for something. If you look at the game, they'll say, okay, you get so many coins. For this number of coins, you can get on a particular weapon, or you can get one particular extra benefit, which can be used as to play the game in a better way. So these sort of things can be actually included into the gamification process also. And the 6th step is desired outcome. What is the outcome you're expecting from the whole process? So the feedback, reward, and result part has to be very well thought of. It should have both tangible and intangible rewards. Tangible rewards are what you say as physical rewards. Intangible is like appreciation, recognition, all these are intangible rewards. So at every level when they move up, there should be some sort of tangible reward and there should be some sort of intangible reward also. So negative might be starting a challenge over. For example, let's say sometimes it's not always about giving positives only. Sometimes we also they're not doing well. Then there should be something like if you don't complete within this time, you have to start from again. So that fear is also important. They say in the motivation part, there are two drivers. One is achievement, another is fear. So one is you have to achieve, and another is if you don't achieve, you will lose this. So you have to start over again. You will not be able to complete this course. Then you will be again the same semester. So some sort of challenge should be there for them to make it or motivate them to stay on track. So as I told you, the epic win is the last one, the final thing. So it can be weeks, months, years, whatever it may be, based on your program you're trying to gamify. But ultimately, there should be incremental success at every point. Incremental success and failure should be there, so that the whole journey seems to be like ups and downs, enjoyable, just like playing a game where it's not always winning. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but still you are keeping on going on the same track of playing the particular game. And finally, after you've done everything, we have to also, as I told you, we will have a feedback system where we will understand what is working and what is not working. So once you understand what is working and what is not working, then you will think, okay, these are the elements that is missing. What have I not considered? What are things that I should be adding to this gamification process to make it more interesting and more engaging? So you have to look at those points, and then you have to ask whether the game is personal enough. Does it feel customized, tailor-made to suit the people, or is it like very general? If it's very general, people do not connect well. Only when you feel that it is very personal, very customized for the requirement, the sort of engagement will be better. Then, as I told you, there's again what is going to keep it interesting for 12 weeks time. Okay, we started a game. That game may be interesting for the first few days, but will the student be interested in this gamification for a long time? So what should we do in order to keep it interesting for a longer time? So how do we keep it interesting for 12 weeks? How am I going to be interesting for 12 months? Or what are the new elements I'm going to add at different levels? So these are the things that you need to look at when you do the gamification. So actually there's a lot of thought process involved. It's not an easy thing. It might look very easy, but if you look at it, there's a lot of creative thought process that we have to bring in. Okay, in level 1, they're doing all this. In level 2, we should be increasing the challenge level. We should increase the difficulty level. So for example, in the first level, they were able to do 5 minutes presentation. Now they should be able to do a 30 minutes assignment, 30 minutes talk. So maybe at every level, you keep on increasing the sort of difficulty so that they are also growing actually. Ultimately, that is the purpose of all this. So then they also say that the thing should not be very tough. If they are very tough, people will lose interest, and if it's too easy also, they will become bored. So it should be in the right flow. Flow means that for the user, not for us, we might find a lot of things are very easy, but for the user, he may find it difficult. Or sometimes we may give it too tough, and people will not even try. If you look at the games which people are playing most, those games are the games where it's not very easy, not very tough, somewhere in the middle that is keeping them engaged based on the mind. Because if you look at it, for some people they like some game that is based on their level of competence, their skill. So people with the high skills will need a little tougher one, and people with low skills will need something lower than the normal average thing. So this is one thing you have to look at their level of participants before you design this gamification process. So when I tell you scores 1000 points, 300 points, you have to think, okay, whether this is an achievable goal or whether it's too difficult for them to achieve. So then we come to what can go wrong. So what can go wrong is rewards are not equal to achievement. Let's say the student is doing a lot of work, but the rewards you're giving is not equivalent to the amount of work they're doing. So they feel, okay, whatever I'm working hard, I'm not getting the equivalent amount of. So as I told you, you should give a lot of rewards, lot of tangible and intangible rewards that they should feel that, okay, by staying engaged in this particular activity, I'm able to get so much of value. I'm able to get all this benefits. So make sure that they're getting enough rewards and equivalent. It should not be too excessive also. Sometimes even for just lifting your hand, you'll get a point that is not worth it. You'll have to say, okay, you give the right answer, you'll get a point or something like that. So make it like everything they do, there is some sort of reward attached to it. And games can get boring after some time. As I told you, any game, that's why a lot of new games are coming every day. People are playing PUBG, and then they're playing so many new games are coming up. So they are active in this game for maybe 6 months, 7 months, and then there's a new game coming up in the market. Then they get bored of the old one. So when you're talking about the education system, which is going to be for 3 years and 4 years, and you're looking at gamification part of it, then you really need to look at it. How am I going to make it interesting for a longer period of time? Which involves a lot of thought process. In fact, there are a lot of gamification consultants also. What I'm giving you today is a very basic outline of gamification. But if you look at the market, there are people who do gamification and customized based on your requirement. They'll come and visit the office, or they'll come and visit your college. They'll understand the behavior, and they'll give some sort of ideas of how you can gamify the whole thing. And motivation levels and competence levels are different. Like I already told you, some students may be very competent, who will finish things very fast and throw it away, and they will just have free time after that. Some people might find it very difficult, and they will be struggling to complete it. So we have to understand the motivation and competence level of the students when you're designing all this gamification things also. So also whenever we talk about a game, there's also one thing called cheating. Always people tend to do this sort of shortcut tricks or whatever they can do in order to win. So we have to make sure whether it is foolproof, whether you have made sure that there's no way that they can, because let's say some people cheat and win the game, then, then the whole game idea is lost, because the person says, okay, I'm working hard, but somebody is just doing a simple trick and passing over that situation. So you have to, these are areas where gamification can go wrong, that it can actually backfire. So we need to be sure that these areas that we take care of. So basically, if you look at the effectiveness part, gamification seems to work. Of course, it works a lot, but it's not a magic elixir. It's not like, okay, just I brought gamification, all my problems are solved. It's not like that. Ultimately, it is the implementation part, it is the improvisation part, it is the constant feedback mechanism that we have with the students that is going to actually make this whole thing work. And gamification benefit research in subtle many fundamental ways if we keep an open mindset. So basically, you need to have a very open mindset. You should not say, okay, this is the rules, no way of changing the rules. If you feel that, okay, these rules are not working, then you have to be willing to slightly alter the game rules in order to make it more user friendly and more engageable. So with this, I concluded my session. So all of you got a certificate, gamified certificate. You completed a gamification 101. Thank you very much for your patient listening. So I'm right now, it's 3:15. I was given time till 3:30, so I thought I'll finish it 15 minutes a little earlier, so that if there's any question answers, I can take it. So thank you so much, and I'm open for any questions you might have.
Sir, it was a very useful session.
Okay.
Especially for faculty like me who are fresher to this field. We need to involve in all these sort of activities so that we could engage the students and make them remember all the concepts forever.
Okay, thank you.
So we learned a lot today, sir. We had many inputs, and you started us to think what we should do further. Thank you for this wonderful session, sir. Now I request our participants to discuss with our resource person to get even more valuable inputs. You could either chat or put on your mic and you can speak. We have got a chat from Dr. Lakshmi Vijayan. She had said that free platforms could be used like Quiz, Nearpod, Kahoot, etc. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the information. Dear participants, you could discuss with our resource person, please.
Any questions from the audience? Freely ask the resource person.
Madam, I think Sarah's got disconnected.
Got disconnected, probably, yeah, as is already mentioned. Like we will check with the resource person as is it possible for us to use this gamification concept in quantitative subjects, because theoretical subjects, yes, from the examples that he had given, we can understand very well like where we can implement it. But quantitative subjects, like if at all, if we could use it, I think it would be much more useful to the students. Is there any other faculty who have?
Ma'am, I think we could use it for statistics, subject like statistics and accounts, ma'am.
True, that is what.
Even Nearpod, we can use it. Open-ended questions are there, ma'am. There's an opportunity. If we are posting the open-ended questions, we will get the answer of the students. Okay, they can post their answers. The teacher can evaluate the answer, and the teacher will decide whether it should be posted to the class, so that other students will also see the answers. Okay, good answers can be posted in the class. Then mathematical problems as well, we can give the problem. Time limitation is there. They can do the calculations in a rough paper and they can come up with the answers. So many options are there once we explore it, ma'am.
Okay.
I also have limited knowledge only on this, but still, I think there's an opportunity for us to explore more. And another thing I noticed is that, as sir mentioned, children are getting bored easily. If we are coming up with one software only, they are getting bored. So we have to switch between free PPT games, then different things. We have to explore more puzzles, word games, then different things.
A combination of all will be useful.
Yes, a combination. Yes, today if I am starting with one Kahoot game, then I should summarize with something else. Okay, or some group discussions or some brainstorming sessions or something like that. So like that. So teacher's speech should be limited. Then exploration students, it should be left to students. That's what here the government is enforcing. Teacher shouldn't, if it is a 40 minutes lecture, teacher should talk only for 11 minutes. The rest should be left to students. That's what here government is saying.
Okay, that's great. Exactly, because normally, many of the researchers has been proven that maximum of 20 minutes a human can efficiently listen to a concept. After that, we'll get diverted. So if at all, doing it in that way, that would be useful, really. So probably at least an eye-opener session for all of us that gamification would be a wonderful platform for us to improve our classroom efficiency, I would say, right? So that it would. Yes.
And also, though we were doing this, we didn't know that this many, after effects would be there for that. So from the theoretical point of view, we could understand that these are the after effects. So we could concentrate more on that.
Exactly. The benefits of it and the implementations, if we could understand, based on that, we can set our goals and we can plan our activities, right?
Exactly.
So that is really wonderful, right? Such like that basic idea of it that we have got it through the session today. So that's really awesome in that part. Exactly. So yes, since in between we couldn't get the video of yours, we started having discussions.
Okay. The line is a little weak here.
Okay. Yeah. But we have started with the discussion of is it possible for us to use it for quantitative subjects? Because maximum with theory papers, at least we can give the inputs in a better way. But when it comes to quantitative papers, if we could use gamification, we felt like it would be really wonderful for the students, right? So will that be possible, or can you give us some insights based on that?
Yeah, basically, if you're looking at integrating with the quantitative subjects, then probably you need to have some expensive software also made. Which is more customized for a requirement. But whatever investment you are making is going to be useful because it's going to be useful for a longer period of time. For example, let's say they're doing an online test. and they are able to answer the questions, and every time they answer a question, you are able to get a game points or something like that. It is possible. Ultimately, it is possible.
Possible. That's what. Like people, whomever is already using it, like they also have shared their experience telling that it makes their classrooms more effective and interactive. And then many a times, and then one good thing about today's session is that people, they had an idea about the post impact of it. Like so far, like we thought, like yes, we can use it, it will have some impact. But what is going to be the post impact, and what exactly we need to look into while designing or using itself? So that has been clearly explained today. So faculty were happy about that also. And for few members, it's all new because gamification is not known to many of the members, right? So few have understood like how far it would be useful to them. And the examples that you've shared, it is not only for the classroom, even for other activities also. Right? Whenever we want to have some activities, team-oriented for the students as well as the teachers, and whenever we organize any sort of events inside, I'm sure this concept, when we culminate it with the routines, no, it would be really an innovative idea so that it will involve more participation, right?
Correct, correct. So basically, you look at this 3 report cards only. There is the evolving report card.
Yes.
Just for the younger generation, they need points, rewards, badges. So it's more like changing the trends of the people today.
Yes.
And we know that the people are enjoying video games. So ultimately, we're trying to bring in the concept of video games into the learning system also.
I'm sure. Very soon, probably our education system may get into it because after the success of PUBG and all, we could see all students inside the campus. Even inside college also, we like whenever they are walking the ways, no, they used to always look into their mobiles and walk. We used to stop them telling that, yeah, we are on the way, we just stop somewhere and continue. So probably if we could teach them with gamification, they'll also be much more happy and their involvement will also be good, I believe, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a good. And one more thing about the grade sheets that you've shown. At that time, I had an idea in my mind, even for like college students, right? We always give a simple CGPA. Instead of that, like school, if we could add those behavioral components and give it, it would be really useful to the employers also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the teachers who spend time with them for 4 years, they can very well rate them based on their behavioral aspects, because with that, the employer can easily have a basic idea. They can overcome even few rounds initially and they can directly take them to the technical or HR round. It would be really good if the academic system at college, higher education level have the guts to introduce it, I would say. So that would be really nice if they could think about it. So it was really a good session. We all have enjoyed it, and we didn't feel it like an afternoon post-lunch session at all. Almost the session itself has made us feel that yes, we are into something. We are going to design something or play something. That mode and feel was there with all the participants. So that was really nice. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, and almost all members, again, they had given in the chat box, and many in the other area also, they all have said like it is inspiring and they had good inputs and it is an eye-opening thing for all of them. They just want to give it a try, and few like whomever have already used it, their opinion also had given confidence to the other members. Like, okay, we can also give it a try, right? Since it is an online mode of education now, yes, it is possible for many of us to give it a try. So I'm sure many participants after this session will try for it. Because at the end of the session, like last day, we have got a blended learning session by a professor from Abiti University, Dubai. So she'll be talking about the gamification component as well as whatever latest technologies available for blended learning. So that she'll be. So I'm sure the participants can easily relate it with the routine classes.
Yeah, sooner or later we need to start to integrate this. Otherwise, we may be left behind, and the students may not travel with us. We need to make the students travel with us ultimately.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Vanitha, for this opportunity. It has been a pleasure for me to interact and share a few thoughts. I didn't enough time to prepare it even better, but within the time I had, I was able to do only this.
You can understand very well. Yeah. So let me formally close the session with the thanks note. So to the participants, to tell about SENTHIL KANNAN sir, it's been a pleasure for me to again talk about him in this forum, because persons like him need to be introduced to many people, because he is a philanthropist and he really loves to gel with people. And I've not seen a person like him with such like that much of kindness and simplicity in spite of the achievements that he had done in his life. A person from the best known brand DVD family, and he's running a company of his own, and he's running a leadership academy of his own. He's into so many things, a person with multifaceted skills and roles, I would say. So running so many things and gelling with so many people, he's so simple and humble. That is what I really loved at him. And I admire him each and every day. And he's running a separate WhatsApp forum called Insiders. It is almost like a family. And we have people from different area with different competencies and different levels, but we never have felt that at all in the group. When we are there inside the group, no, we all have a feel that you have all known people around you, people who care about you. So such a wonderful thing he's doing, and it happens only because of his leadership skills and his involvement. Because no, we all know having people of 100 and 200 inside the campus, we have that much of conflicts and misunderstandings. But he keeps people through, again, WhatsApp, right? Online, via online only we are all connected. Yearly once we meet together, but we never felt as if we are meeting for the first time. We always have a thought like, yes, you have someone there always with you to express yourself, to grow, to learn. So that wonderful experience he had given to many people. So for that, I'd like to again thank him and appreciate him for the wonderful initiatives that he has taken. Thank you very much for that, Anna. So I always prefer to call him as Anna. Anna in the sense it's in Tamil, it's brother, right? So he's more or less like a brother only. I never felt him like a third person at all. So that feel will very rarely will come to you with people. So that is there with them. First thing. And second thing, the way he connects the experts with the needy people. Because he provides consultancy services and trainings to so many corporates in Tuticorin. So he's doing that in a wonderful manner. He identifies right people and he puts them in the right track and makes people feel good about it. So, and to students, executives in many areas. So in that way, I thought, and the best part of him was like, in this age, again, he's continuously learning. See, just at the beginning of the session, he told like, I've attended 2 day session and out of that I'm presenting. How nice it is, right? He's well settled, he's got his own business and he have got so many things in his agenda. In spite of that, he's interested in learning. So as teachers, no, we all need to understand that. We all need to learn that from persons like him. So in that way, I'm really happy that I had an opportunity to introduce him to the faculty forum. So with that, I just expect the faculty to connect with him and use his expertise in your areas also, anything related to your student development, your leadership areas, anywhere. And he's highly approachable. He's very friendly and you can approach him for any sort of professional association with him and he'll be able to support you. Yeah. So in that way, on behalf of AACT and IST, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Senthil for his presence and sharing his knowledge with all of us. So from the heart, it was a wonderful session. We all have enjoyed, yes, a great leader we had today with us. So on behalf of all the participants and on my own behalf, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much to make it a wonderful. Yeah. Sriram sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yeah. You can close it formally.
Yes, ma'am. As indeed, it was a very wonderful session, meeting such great personality virtually, and we got very valuable and very needy inputs from him. I think, I hope we would implement all these things in our process of teaching. And I hope all the participants have learned what gamification 101 is. Especially the basic is very, very important, which I think we got very easily without any effort. It was so effortless. He had just taught us. And thank you all for listening to his wonderful session and had a very valuable discussion. Thank you once again. We will meet up by tomorrow morning 9:30 for the day 5 session 1. Thank you all. And
feedback, yeah, that also can tell.
I'll be putting the feedback in the chat box. Whomever is available, please do make a copy, and you will also be shared in the WhatsApp group. Please do fill up the attendance and feedback for today's sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dear participants, please go through the chat box for attendance and feedback link for day 4. Thank you.